Yo, 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 yo. Test, 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 test.
Tom Cash.
Mark my words.
Yeah. You know what time it is. Welcome to another special episode of Mark My Words with me, your host, Mark Gunnels, live from the Good News Sports Station in sunny Los Angeles, California. Thank everybody for listening to me right now live on the Good News Radio app, Apple Podcast, Spotify, Google Play, iHeartRadio. We have another special edition of Mark My Words. If you're listening to this a day later, today is Friday, so happy Friday. Happy weekend, man. You know what that means. The NFL is upon us once again. We had a game last night, Thursday Night Football, courtesy of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Philadelphia Eagles. The game started off how we expected, blowout, Bucks moving at will. But the Eagles made it interesting. You know, Tampa Bay, they got a little bored. Tampa got a little bored. They got a little relaxed. Things were happening so easily for them. And the Eagles, you know, they're a scrappy team. They got some talent over there. Jalen Hurts made a couple plays. But you never really thought that they were going to win the game. The story of the game for me is the Eagles going for two to make it 28-22 versus letting it be 28-21. And why is that important? Well, it's important because the Bucks, if you're a gambling person, you know the Bucks were favored by 7 points or 6.5, wherever you got the number at. But the point is, the Eagles going for two makes the game a 6-point game. So whether you had the Bucks minus 6.5, minus 7, that 2-point conversion cost you money. And the analytic people out there are saying that's the thing to do now. I guess I'm out the loop on that, but wow, that really sucks if you were on the Bucks side there. Because typically, historically, the team would just kick the extra point, make it 28-21, still a one possession game. But no, that didn't happen. Oh, but you still had some hope if you were a Bucks better because the Bucks drove down the field. They were in field goal range. But it got to the point where the Eagles ran out of timeouts and the Bucks just took a knee. And they ended up winning by 6 points. Hey, but on the other side, if you're Eagles better, you're thrilled. That's how it goes. If you're on the other side, you're elated that the Eagles went for 2. You probably didn't even think it was going to be possible that they would even think of that. And then you were probably sweating bullets when the Bucks were driving. Like, oh man, they're in field goal range now. But luckily, the Eagles defense was so bad to the point where they couldn't hold them in time before it was time to take a knee. But enough of that. Let's look forward to week 6 now? Oh man, this season is flying by, isn't it? Week 6. There's a few intriguing games here, especially Sunday. There's a couple of Sunday that I'm really, really, really intrigued by. And I'm going to get into those. Let's start off with the Browns and Cardinals. 2 former Oklahoma Sooner quarterback teammates going at it. 2 Heisman Trophy winners in Kyler Murray and Baker Mayfield. Now, the makeup of both of these guys in the pros so far is dramatically different in how their teams are succeeding. The Browns, I would say, for the most part, are succeeding in spite of Baker Mayfield. They're asking him not to lose games. You don't have to win it for us because everything around him is pretty much perfect. He arguably has the best offensive line in football. He has the best rushing attack in football. And Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb will not play this week. You have one of the most talented receiving corps in all of football. Odell Beckham, Jarvis Landry, Austin Hooper, and David Njoku. And you have a much improved defense. They spent a lot of resources, and you have probably the best edge rusher in football in Myles Garrett. And you have a great coach. I think we can concede at this point that Kevin Stefanski is a very, very good coach. His play calling is great. He has a great blend of run and pass. He puts Baker in good situations, play action, gets him going on the boot. So he doesn't have to read the field too much. He shrinks the field for him. Makes things easy for him. That's the complete opposite in Arizona. In Arizona, it's more like, let's roll the ball out, and Kyler, you go do something. Go be great. To their credit, they have added some talent. AJ Green looks to have a fountain of youth. Their old line is improved. Oh, and by the way, they just traded for Zach Ertz today. So that team, they're going all in. I mean, you have to. Because just like Baker, Lamar, Kyler's on his rookie contract. So this is the time to cash in. The Chiefs cashed in before Mahomes got paid. It's the new thing. The Chargers, they're going to have to go all in because Justin Herbert will get paid very handsomely. So This matchup intrigues me. Obviously, the Cardinals are undefeated right now. They look really good. Their defense is a lot better than people assumed before the season. And the Browns, you could say they're a little disappointing thus far, just based on the eye test. But they're about where you would expect. I don't think people expected the Ravens to be 4-1 at this point. The Browns were the sexy pick to win the AFC North, and for good reason. So all of those things make this matchup one to where this is like a swing game for me. I think this is a swing game.
Hey, are you live, Mark?
Damn, you didn't hear me?
I didn't hear nothing, bro.
Damn, I've been going for like 10 minutes.
Hey, so make sure on the screen where it says, make sure it's logged into Rodecaster Pro for sure. If so, make sure the headphones are not yellow, they're white.
Nah, the headphones ain't yellow, bro.
Yeah, that's
And
weird.
it's on Rodecaster Pro. I ended it now because I'm like, fuck, I'm talking on the phone. But
no, yeah, just
man, that's weird.
Yeah, that's real weird. Just restart it.
Okay.
All right, bro.
Yeah, text me if you don't hear me again.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tomcast.
Mark my words.
Yeah. You know what time it is. Welcome to another special episode of Mark My Words with me, your host, Mark A. Gunnels, live from the Good News Sports Station in sunny Los Angeles, California. Thank everybody for listening to me right now live on the Good News Radio app, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, iHeartRadio. We have another special edition of Mark My Words. Happy Friday. We made it through the work week. It's Friday. Turn up. The weekend is here. You know what that means. Another week of NFL football. Now, we had a game last night, Thursday night. Bucks Eagles. Started off going as planned. The Bucks got out to a big lead, 28-7 at one point. But the Eagles made a run. You know, the Bucks got a little bored. Things were coming so easy to them. So they got a little bored, took their foot off the gas. And the Eagles, they have some talent. They have guys that can make plays. Not consistently, but they have guys that can make plays. Hurts can make a few plays with his arm every now and then. And then we know he's very athletic. So he made some plays with his legs as well. They ended up losing 28-22. And that's what I want to focus on, that score, 28-22. Because if you're a gambling person, you know, heading into that game, the Bucks were favored by 7 or 6.5, depending on what you got the number at. But either way, the decision to go for 2, if you were on the Bucks side of them covering the spread, it screwed you. And it's heartbreaking, honestly, because I'm hearing the analytic people are saying that's the thing to do now in that situation. Maybe I missed that memo. But traditionally, a team would just kick the extra point, make it 28-21, try to get a stop and get the ball back, tie it up, go to overtime. But the Eagles, when they were down 28-20, went for 2, got it, made it a 6-point game. And then the Bucks still got the ball back, obviously. So if you're a Bucks bettor, you're like, okay, maybe they can score, kick a field goal. They drove. They got in field goal range. But the Eagles couldn't stop them on third down. They ran out of timeouts. And the Bucks just took a knee. And they won by 6 points. Eagles covered the spread. So if you're on the Eagles side, you're thrilled. That's great for you if you're on the Eagles side. But if you're on the Bucks side, man, I feel for you this morning. I feel for you, man. That's brutal. That's brutal. And you guys know I gamble, but I didn't make any play. But if I did, I would have been on the Bucks side. And I don't know if I would have made the show today. That's how sick I would have been. So I'm glad I didn't make any plays. Because I would have been right there with you. Bucks bettors. That's brutal. That's brutal. We're going to get into more betting stuff later. As you guys know, every week I give you guys my 3 best bets for the upcoming football Sunday. So we'll get into that in a second. But first, I want to break down a couple of marquee matchups this weekend that really, really got me excited. And the first one is Browns-Cardinals. The battle of the 2 former Oklahoma Sooner quarterback teammates, 2 former Heisman winners, and 2 short quarterbacks. They're very short, especially Kyler. So you got Kyler Murray against Baker Mayfield. Now, both of these teams are looked at this point as contenders in their respective conferences, as they should be. The Cardinals are undefeated. The Browns are pretty steady. Not as good as I would have thought thus far, but they're still playing some good football. And they'll be right there at the end. I still think they're going to win that division. Although I know the Ravens are 4-1 right now. I get that. But the success of both these teams around their quarterbacks are totally different. The Browns, they just asked Baker Mayfield, don't lose the game. Just don't lose the game. We don't need you to win it. Just don't lose it. Because everything around him is pretty much perfect. He has arguably the best offensive line in football. He has the best rushing attack in football with Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb, who won't play this Sunday, actually, but they'll be fine. Kareem Hunt is a top 10, maybe top 5 running back. So he'll be fine. You have a talented wide receiver core, Jarvis Landry, Odell Beckham, count the tight ends, and Njoku, Hooper. And you have a much improved defense led by maybe the best edge rusher in the game in Myles Garrett. So, oh, and by the way, you have a great coaching staff led by Kevin Stefanski. I think at this point we can comfortably say that Stefanski is a really, really, really good coach. So everything around him is perfect. The play calling is good. It's a good blend of run, pass. Teams have to honor the running game. So things are easier for Baker in the passing game. Play action works, rollouts, bootlegs, shorten the field so he doesn't have to read the whole entire field. Shorten it, read half the field, roll out. Things are easy. Tight ends get involved. Running backs get involved a little bit, especially Kareem in the passing game. So things are easy for him. It's the complete opposite in Arizona. If you watch their film, watch their play calling, it's basically rolling the ball out there and say, Kyler, make something happen. Make something happen, man. And to his credit, he's doing that. And now, to be fair, he does have talent around him. You got Hopkins, obviously, AJ Green. But I would say that's more of a product of Kyler Murray making him look good. Because the last few years in Cincinnati, people were calling AJ Green washed. So you have that. Oh, and by the way, they just traded for Zach Ertz today. So that was a good pickup because there was a need there at tight end. The offensive line is improved. But schematically, it's basically Kyler make something happen. And he's doing it, though. He's doing it. I mean, the talent was never a question with him. It was just more about the game slowing down for him, going through his progressions, being more of a pocket passer, which he still has more room to grow there. But, I mean, he's such a nightmare to go against. I mean, outside of Lamar Jackson, there's nobody else that you're more feared of when it comes to their legs. But he's a much better thrower of the football than Lamar is. So he's the ultimate dual threat quarterback. Their defense is better than people thought thus far. So the Cardinals, they're like a freestyle team, I would say. They have a lot of talent, but at the end of the day, they're going to go as far as Kyler takes them. That's just the way it's set up. With the Browns, they're going to go as far as the surrounding pieces around Baker take them. As long as Baker doesn't lose games, take care of the football. Don't take any unnecessary risk. We'll take punts. We'll take field position. Our defense is better than it was last year. They're fine with that. So this game is intriguing to me. I'm leaning Cleveland here. At Cleveland, West Coast team, traveling across the country. You know how that normally goes. Early kickoff. And they're due for a loss. I mean, they played with fire a couple games. They definitely should have lost that Vikings game. The kicker missed a 37-yarder as time expired. They should have lost that game. Cleveland, they're a good football team. At home, in the dog pound. It's going to be rocking. This just feels like a game that the Cardinals would drop. I think Myles Garrett is going to make a few game-changing plays. He's very athletic, too, for a DN. I mean, we're seeing DNs hawk these quarterbacks down now. I mean, it's amazing how athletic these edge rushers are becoming nowadays. It's almost a necessity at this point that you have to run like a 4.4 or 4.5 to be an edge rusher in today's league. Now, I don't think he's going to want to be in a foot race with Kyler Murray, but I do believe that, he can make things tough. Their back end is better than it was, and it's going to get better week by week. I mean, they have a new group. They have 8 new starters defensively. So the Browns defense will theoretically get better week by week. And on the other side, I think they'll be able to run the ball on Arizona. I think they'll be able to run the ball, set up play action. And I'm going to call it right now. I know there's been a lot of talk about these two and their miscommunication and how they're better without this guy. I think this is a prime opportunity for an Odell breakout game. I'm calling it right now. He's going to have over 100 yards receiving and at least 1 touchdown. I'm calling it right now. Part of that maybe is me wishful thinking because I do have him on one of my fantasy teams. And it's hard for me not to start him at the flex spot each week because I don't want to miss out on that breakout week. It should have been the Minnesota game. But Baker kept overthrowing them, underthrowing them, missing them. I'm like, come on, man. That should have been an easy 100-plus game with a couple touchdowns. But I think this will be the week at home. I'm still not completely sold on this Cardinals defense. I know they're playing good so far, but I'm still not all the way there yet. I think this is the week Odell breaks out and him and Baker get on the same page. And all is well in Northeast Ohio. I mentioned this team a little bit. The Browns' rival, the Baltimore Ravens. Now, this is probably the game of Sunday. Ravens Chargers. The battle of 2 4-1 teams. The Ravens are surprising to me that they're 4-1. I'm not surprised that the Chargers are 4-1. I was high on them before the year. High on Justin Herbert. So nothing that they're doing thus far has surprised me. This game has all the makings of a shootout. The Chargers are near the bottom in the league against the run. Good luck against Lamar Jackson. But on the other side, the Ravens defense hasn't been too hot either. Their secondary has a lot of leaks in it. They still don't have a consistent pass rush. And those 2 ingredients, that's a recipe for disaster going against Jay Herbo. That's what the kids are calling Justin Herbert nowadays. Jay Herbo. I mean, this guy's special. I mean, I raved about him in the offseason, talking about how him and Mahomes could end up being the best interdivision quarterback rivalry of all time. He's a top 5 quarterback talent in the league. I don't care how young he is. I don't care if it's the first quarter of his second season, second quarter now. I don't care. My eyes tell me that Justin Herbert is a top 5 quarterback in the league. Argue with your mom. Argue with your drunk uncle. I don't care. He's that special. He's big. He's hard to bring down. He can make all the throws. He's mobile. And he has it up here too, man. He goes through his progressions. He's getting better at reading defenses. And it helps that he has some talent around him as well. Keenan Allen. Him and Mike Williams have a special connection. Obviously, Austin Eckler, one of the best pass-catching running backs in the league. But their run defense is bad. So Baltimore, they should be able to score points. But I'm leaning the Chargers here for this and this only. While their run defense is bad, they've been going against traditional running teams. athletically, they have the athletes on all three levels to kind of neutralize Lamar to a certain extent, because that's Baltimore's running game is Lamar Jackson. You're not scared of Latavius Murray or Le'Veon Bell, who I don't think he's even on team still. Is he even there? I haven't seen him get one carry. Is he there? I'm not sure. So they may match up against this unconventional running offense better than they have against the traditional running teams, because they have the athletes. Now, the question is, can they get off blocks? Because sideline to sideline, they can make the plays. I think they'll make just enough stops to win this game. Now, don't get it twisted. I'm not saying they're going to hold the Ravens to under 20 points. I mean, I think the Ravens will flirt with 30, but I have more confidence in the Chargers sustaining drives throughout the game more consistently than I do Baltimore in this matchup. I mean, Baltimore, look at their defense. I mean, they made Carson Wentz look like the old Carson Wentz that was going to win MVP like 10 years ago. I mean, he looks really good. And he doesn't have near the weapons that Justin Herbert does, and he's not near the talent that Justin Herbert is now. So I like the Chargers to win this game. It's going to be a high-scoring game, like 31-27, 31-24, something like that. But I'm really, really looking forward to both those games. Should be some really good football. Thank you, everybody, for listening to me right now live on the Good News Radio app, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, iHeartRadio. This is your host, Mark Gunnels, with another special edition of Mark My Words. So, before I get to my 3 best bets for this upcoming football Sunday, let me sneak in a little NBA here. Yeah, the NBA. Because you do know the NBA regular season starts in less than a week. Can you believe that? We're almost there, baby. So the Lakers finished their preseason, and they didn't win one single game. They went 0-6. Yeah, 0-6. Lakers Nation is panicking. They're questioning lineups already. They're questioning AD at the 5, or should DeAndre Jordan be at the 5, or should Dwight Howard be at the 5? But they love Austin Reeves. People are saying he should be a starter. People are still questioning Westbrook. Does this really fit? The 3-point shooting, the defense. Do we need another wing? Athletic 2-way wing? All of these things I'm seeing on social media. Like I mentioned on Lakers Nation a week ago, relax. It's just preseason. They're trying new things, different lineups, different rotations. And come on, do you really expect guys to give their full effort defensively in the preseason? Now, there are valid concerns here. I still am under the belief that AD should start at the 5, because you got Westbrook now. You got Russell Westbrook, LeBron. Obviously, those two guys are not the best 3-point shooters in the world. So having a DeAndre Jordan or a Dwight Howard at the 5, along with those guys in the starting lineup, doesn't make much sense to me, especially offensively. because you're going to clog the lane. And we know Westbrook especially loves to drive. So the driving lanes just won't be there. They won't be there. But if you have AD at the 5, you spread the floor out more because he's a threat to shoot from the 3-point line. And you're not losing anything defensively because AD is your best defender and your best rim protector at this point in his career. So that just makes more sense to me. Now, could they use another wing to take some pressure off of LeBron, defending other guys? Sure. But that was the thinking when they signed Trevor Ariza, and now he's out for maybe 2 months. I can hear now, Ariza, he's old though. Yeah, he is, but they believe that he can play a role in this team. So until I see otherwise, I'm going to trust them. This is a very smart front office. They have very smart players and a very smart coaching staff. And I get all the Westbrook stuff. Trust me, I do. I've been a real hard critic of Westbrook in the past. But at this point in his career, he's not getting any younger. He's never won a championship. He's back in his hometown playing for his hometown team. And this is his best chance to win a championship. And if anybody can get him to sacrifice some of his game, it's LeBron James. So if it doesn't happen here, it's not going to happen anywhere. And I believe their off the court friendship, which they have had for years, it's not a new thing. They've been close. I think that alone will play a big factor in Westbrook conceding a lot of things that he did in the past for the betterment of the team. So I'm not concerned at all. They may start off slow, but they may not. Their early schedule is very favorable. So they could start off very fast and then hit a lull when the schedule gets a little tougher. So we'll see. Obviously, you don't want to go winless in the preseason. I mean, it doesn't matter either way, but my gosh, you at least want to get a feeling of winning at least a couple of games. So I get that, but these guys are veterans. They don't need any extra confidence by winning a preseason game. I could see if this was a young team that's new together, that's trying to build on something. No, that's not the case here. They'll be fine. They have multiple champions on this roster, and they have, in my opinion, the greatest player of all time and one of the highest IQs of all time in LeBron James. They're going to be fine. They're still the clear-cut favorite in the West, especially with no Kawhi most likely this year. They're going to be fine. So it's time for the best bets for this upcoming football Sunday. Just a FYI, if you don't trust me, I have a track record. I'm keeping track of my picks throughout the year. I do this every week. So far, I'm hitting at a 71% rate. That's really, really good. The professional gamblers out there say the goal is 60%. So I'm hitting at 71%. So it's up to you if you want to miss out on this money or not. Hey, I'm just giving my picks. And I'm hitting at 71%. So if you've been following me so far since week 1, your pockets should be really, really good right now. They should be really healthy. So it's up to you. Gamble at your own risk. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just giving my picks. And it's up to you to make the decision or not to place the bet. So let's start off. My 3 best bets for this upcoming football Sunday. We're going to start off in D.C. Chiefs in Washington. I love the Chiefs here, -7. If you got it at 6.5, great. And I love it even more now after I hear the reports that their best offensive weapon, Terry McLaurin, didn't practice today. And if you follow the NFL and the history of guys that don't practice on Friday, odds are you're not going to play on Sunday. If you don't practice on Friday, you're probably not playing Sunday. So if he doesn't play, I mean, this line is probably going to go up right before kickoff. It's at -7 right now. It'll probably go to -8, 8.5. But even if he does play, I like this play no matter what, because for the first time in the Mahomes era, the Chiefs were embarrassed without a legitimate excuse. They were embarrassed in the Super Bowl last year, but people were like, yeah, but they had like a whole backup starting offensive line. You know, you get a pass for that. They got a pass for that. But against Buffalo, I mean, yeah, you didn't have Chris Jones, but I mean, you pretty much had everybody there. And you got embarrassed at home at that by 18 points. So I expect a very, very focused Chiefs team this week. Taylor Heineke, he's really a backup quarterback. He gives you a lot of opportunities to make picks. So plays will be there for the taking there. This feels like a good get-right game for that Chiefs defense, especially if Scary Terry doesn't play. But offensively, it should be fireworks. This is not the same Washington defense from last year. They're near the bottom. Their pass rush isn't the same. Their secondary is awful. They allow a few big plays every week. And they hang their hat on playing man. The Chiefs so far have seen a lot of too high safety looks. That's not really Washington style. So if they try to play that, I'm not sure how efficient they'll be in doing that. And if they play how they normally have played, they're going to get smoked. So either way, I see the Chiefs scoring 30-plus points, maybe even 40 in this game. And I don't see Washington getting in the 30s. So I love the Chiefs to win this game by double digits. I love them at -7 here. Another one I really, really like. I love the under in the Cowboys-Patriots game. I'm actually surprised it's this high. Right now, I see it at 50.5. I know the Cowboys offense has been very explosive. I mean, they're very, very talented. I mean, as far as balance goes, as far as run and pass, they're the most complete offense in football. I get that. But you're still going against a Belichick defense. So I don't think it's going to be that sweet. I don't see them scoring in the 30s in this game. High 20s, which means whatever the Patriots score is going to be under 50, presumably. Let's say Cowboys score 27. I'll say the Patriots score about 20, maybe 23, but that'll still be at 50 or under 50. And it's at 50.5 right now. So I think this will be a little more low scoring than people think. The Patriots offense is awful. I mean, first of all, they don't give Mac Jones enough leeway. They still have the handcuffs on him. They're not letting him free. It's a very vanilla playbook right now. And that Cowboys defense has looked really good. They're causing turnovers every week. Don't throw towards Diggs. He's going to get a pick every week. So I see this game being low scoring or more lower scoring than that number says, at least. So I really like that play there. I like it a lot. And the last play I like a lot. Can't talk today. The last play I like, Steelers -5 against Seattle. This is fairly simple to me. Geno Smith is starting his first game, and I don't know how long, going against a very stingy Steelers defense on the road, Sunday Night Football. And that Seattle defense is awful. I mean, it's really bad. So they'll make any offense look good because this Pittsburgh offense is not good. Big Ben is washed. No Juju. But like I said, that Seattle defense has no resistance. They give no resistance. So I like Pittsburgh here, -5. They're going to turn Geno Smith over. He's going to be overwhelmed by that pass rush. I like Pittsburgh there. So there you go. Chiefs -7. The under on the Cowboys-Patriots game. And Steelers -5. Those are my 3 best bets of the week. You know what that means. Thank you guys for listening to another special episode of Mark My Words. I'll be back next week. Make sure you guys follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Mark A. Gunnels. Subscribe to the podcast, Mark My Words Sports, Apple, Google, iHeart, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. Guys, have a great weekend. Enjoy some football. I'm out.